across looking at it in an off-camera way, too. We have a rep for maybe the Starshine Brightness Convention. Here you go.
Watch carefully, you can see that there is a pattern to it. It's two spirals going against each other.
Just possessing reflexes to the maps.
That is true of pretty much everything that is done in these games. There are very few of any cards that are completely random. They all have a pattern, and if you can read it, it becomes much more manageable.
One noteworthy thing about this battle that makes me love it so much is just how, it's like, we mentioned in the readable blood patterns earlier, but just the way the colors flow into each other, basically every single spell card is really gorgeous.
Man, that might be really pretty if I could see it.
I'm sorry.
Monitor died! It's still off!
Lost screen? Lost screen.
It was so
Too bright for you.
Oh, bad.
Hovering here to get a better score. The closer you are to the enemy, the more extra points you can get from them.
Damn!
So yeah, you've got to get extra points in this specific game by script reading. And he just made it look.
There is some debate as to what is the actual hardest game in there. Some people actually call this one the easiest one. A lot of people would disagree, but yeah, that's the easiest. Yeah, the hardest is insane.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. The hardest is Phantasmagoria Dim Dream. Thank you very much.
No, I think the hardest one was, I think, Responsive to Prayers. Have you ever beaten that? Ever?
Oh yeah. Actually, for me, I find that one quite entertaining. It's a different puzzle, so.
Alright, so the man behind the games, there's exactly one person that does everything. Everything. Aside from, well, there's the occasional game like the Fighters that are made by another group that he has a lot of input into those games. But the main games are all made by one person, Zoom. That's right there. So he does all the arts, all the music, all the programming, all the everything. It is worth noting that he has no professional musical education background. He's completely self-taught. So all that music you heard was completely self-taught.
Jaw dropping.
Direct contrast to many artists, many programmers and whatnot, Zune actively encourages fans to write their own stories with his characters. The Toho universe is very bare bones in what's presented in the games. There's written works as well that present some background information, but there's a lot of characters that you can imagine a lot of things about. And Zune really likes that people do that with his characters. Zune plays the trumpet, which explains a lot about the music. But more recently, he has started racing guitars. And he recently, last September, he had his first U.S. visit, an anime weekend in Atlanta, 2013. Who was at that convention, by the way? Who in here? So, at anime weekend in Atlanta, Zune had a Q&A session, among other things. And so we got to learn a little bit about the series, but also a lot about him as a person and as a developer and whatnot. Why all girls? Because boys get in the way.
We actually had considered making the last couple bosses of the game that we just saw men, and then said it doesn't fit and changed back to women.
He is open to the idea of introducing more male characters, but they're going to be in roles like shopkeeper that only appear in written works. Or clouds or turtles. Renosuke, stand up. Renosuke, oh yeah, we have Renosuke here, yes.
Oh wow, there you are.
We almost have an Unzo. We have an Ichiryu with Hulk fists. So that's the only important part of Unzon anyway, so.
Yeah.
So and I've said it before, he likes that fans build on his works. And so much so that he actively avoids getting immersed in the fan works because there's two reasons. One, he doesn't like to get ideas that aren't his. And two, sometimes he gets jealous. He likes the idea of Steam. Someone asked about Steam digital distribution, but it's unlikely that the games will appear there because there's a whole lot of work apparently that would go into that. However, apparently within the past couple months, he has released English language config screens, and it is entirely possible that the game may be
Even likely, from what we understand, he has contacted someone to begin looking at English distribution. However, we don't have any details on it yet. It's just a couple screen caps and word of mouth, but he is becoming a distributor over here. But there's no word on whether that's digital or physical distribution.
So we will see, but it sounds really, really good, like we're finally going to have stateside, North American side copies. And probably European as well, presumably. He was completely blown away by the turnout he got. He was expecting like 50, 60 people, and we just all poured in from all over the continents. We had people from, there were some fans from China, some fans there from Europe, and we had North America, and I think we had some fans there from Mexico as well. He was just completely floored by how passionate the fan base is here. So congratulations, you all impressed him very much. One particular thing that impressed him, I don't believe Totaku is here, but there was this. What this is, Jared, do you want to describe this because you were a part of this?
Yes, I was
John, can you grab the other one?
A fellow by the name of Totaku got the idea when we heard that Zune was coming to put together a community artwork that would be every single character from the Windows universe that is in Toho. He got various artists to do each of the characters, and then came up with backgrounds, and then had it printed out. This here is the small version of it. The actual full-size version that was presented to him as a gift from the Western fandom was something like 15 feet long. Printed out on actual white paper and presented to him. Another group of fans also got together and put together an art book of similar size and scope to present to him at the convention. And this really impressed him as well. And you can see the picture in the background. He is in fact...
the cursor doesn't show up. I've been trying to point to him and Totaku. Actually, can you go point to Zune and indicate where he is? Because you're right next to him in the picture.
That's him.
Well, that's Rio.
They with the hat. Because of course.
Yeah.
Because of course, he has to have his trademark hat on.
Because there's only one silly hat in that picture, right?
Ow. Yeah.
Maybe.
But yes, this is a copy of the entire scroll. Every character from Windows series.
It was up to and included the first 3 bosses from the double healing character demo, I believe, because we didn't have time to get out the last.
That's correct.
Are any of you out there, by the way? Oh, Katie, are you out there in Nagano? Right there. Yes, okay, so that's one of the 3 demo characters in DDC at the time. Oh, yes, Your head is still on top of your body, so. All right, a little bit more in the Q&A. He wanted Rin Satsuki playable in the OSD, but he had to conquer due to time. For those who don't know, Rin Satsuki was found by people going into the game's code and finding leftover data for this Keating character called Rin Satsuki, who was a nurse. And when Zoom was asked about this, he was like, you know a lot about these games, don't you? Someone asked why the Moria Shrine wasn't in the Giants religious brawl. There was no reason. reason, he didn't want to put them in, so they weren't in. There's a lot of answers were like that. Soon is very much like that. It's like, why did this happen? I felt like it. He was asked about PC-98, certain PC-98 characters coming back, and his answer is essentially, I won't say no, but... So far, don't get your hopes up. And we asked him how, a few of us, our burning question for so long has been, how do we Romanize Maribel, Mary, Miss Hearn, her given name? How is it spelled in English? And his response was, I don't know why.
This is fully reflective of the man himself. He is very relaxed. He enjoys doing this, I think, and so it doesn't really, I don't think it really occurs to him to get that obsessive about it, and so it's what it is.
Yeah, this was the one question I wanted to ask, and I'm still not sure this is my favorite answer or my least favorite answer.
I'm pretty sure Sola cried after that.
Yeah, Sola, who is not here, is usually with us on the panel, but he's in Minnesota right now because he's been moving. So kind of